Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Shadow of the Colossus. We've got another one roughly in that direction. So we're going to keep on going. I'm not actually playing ahead this time because I'm worried about running out of time. This next week shouldn't be too bad. But I am really just wanting to play more of this, so I think we'll do this one last one and then I'll calm down for a bit. It was funny. I remember in that dark, spooky area last time with all that fog, I thought I saw something that my first thought was it looked like a giant cockroach kind of creature. And my immediate first thought wasn't that in this game full of Colossuses that was the first enemy non-Colossus. My first thought, actually that was my thought, sorry, I meant to say, my thought wasn't that was an enemy I needed to fight or avoid or something. My first thought was, whoa, that's not a Colossus. That can't be an enemy. I'm not exactly sure what I even saw. I haven't looked over the video yet. It was probably just the horse, and it kind of moves erratically, especially that hair, so I probably got a bit confused. I don't know why the horse just stops sometimes. I don't really get that. It'll just be galloping and all of a sudden it'll come to a full stop, and I didn't tell it to do that. It's like it gets afraid when there's not grass in front of it. I really wish the game didn't take the camera controls out of your hand so often. I've talked about this before, but I'll mention it briefly again now that I'm thinking about it. It's trying to go for very cinematic camera shots, which are cool. I like cinematic camera shots. But they should do what I've seen other games do, where if the game wants to show you a cinematic camera shot, it'll take control of the camera. But the second the player starts trying to control the camera themselves, they stop the cinematic camera shot. Or at the very least, they give you about... You've got to have about, 5 seconds of the player not controlling the camera before they take back control of the camera again. This game doesn't do that. Here, watch. I'm going to pan the camera to the right, and the second I stop panning, it starts panning it back forward. Which is okay, I guess, since I am traveling forward, but then I want to get a slightly, cool sweeping shot of this area, and no, I've got to look this way. I don't know. It's a weird problem. It is, and to the game's credit, that would be more of a problem in a game where you're focusing on multiple enemies and you might want to choose one over the other. That wasn't white-tailed, was it? But being that this game, there's only ever one massive enemy to fight, if the game decides to take control of your camera and make you look at the massive enemy, that's generally not a huge problem. You're not white-tailed, you're just regular. Boring lizard. I'll eat you anyway. I'm not really a fan of games that take control of your camera in any massive, impactful way where if you're not immediately controlling it, then they're like, no, it's mine. That's kind of what the game's doing. I'm trying to think of like another game that, you know, did that kind of thing. Or they just take your camera controls, and I can't really think of one right off other than maybe some really artsy kind of games like... whatever that game where you're wandering around in like a desert. It was also on the PS3. I cannot remember what it was at the moment. Ooh. Oh, this looks like a boss arena. And I think, you know, just talking about it, I think it might be sort of like a product of age. Having, you know, them just taking control of the camera. Because they want to show you the things they want to show you, and I get that. But sometimes being a player in a game, you might want to look at your own thing, and they should kind of respect that. I don't know, that got a lot deeper than I thought it would. I said I wasn't going to talk about that for long. Anyway, we got some sort of weird sand snake here. I have a feeling I can't hold on under sand as well as I can underwater. Oh, whoa, that's a lot of damage. You okay, aggro?
Aggro!
That was strange. That was very odd. You gonna come back if I go in the sunlight? So there's something to this. Oh, yeah, the thing is to do this is to die. Excellent. Exactly. Whoa. Ooh. I don't know if I like the close-up of the very dark version of the guy's face. The Colossus face or statue or whatever that is. That's a little spooky. Skip that. Alright, so let's take note of our surroundings. We've got some large pillars. I'm wondering if maybe we can force the creature to run into them and knock them over somehow. It seems to chase us if we try to go around it. Thinking maybe if we can chase it, we could... No, that hurt. I was thinking I could jump off onto him. Surely he can't go straight at a rock, so if we stand in front of the rock and he tries to come for us, that would probably work, right?
Abro.
Okay, he's coming. I'm feeling kind of iffy about this plan the closer he gets. That didn't work. But my hypothesis about him not being able to go on the rock wasn't, you know, incorrect. I just can't really get close to him because I take a massive amount of damage, so I think we'd have to stun him or do something to him to stop his movement. Yeah, because we're not going to get on that. And this probably involves going very quickly. Well, I get that. I get that. He's saying we got to be on the horse in order to get away. So I get that. But I don't really know how we're supposed to get an attack on him. See, he corners really tightly here. This seems like such a bad idea. I'm chasing down this guy that's probably going to one-shot me at this health. Yep. No, that didn't work. Aggro, we're gonna have to go, like right now. Come on. Yep, that's not the way to go about that. I'm just gonna take a little trip around the room to see if there's anything I notice other than the rock so far. What is that? Nothing really important. Wait, I've got an idea. That was a bad idea. That was such a bad idea. My thought was, maybe, right? I don't like that face. It kind of spooks me. Maybe. Alright. I start trying to outrun the guy with the horse. Which he seems like he's probably going to do, you know, a slowly gaining on me kind of deal. And then I jump, because when you're moving full speed, you can press triangle and your character jumps. And then I jump on his head, and I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. There's no way that can possibly fail. I don't know about that one. Yes, please, get on the horse slower. I don't know how I avoided that. So, I have a feeling this might take me a bit longer, so I'm probably going to make a video cut. Oh, God. And we'll come back whenever I manage to figure something out. So I find this pretty interesting. Just as I was just kind of running around looking at stuff, there's nothing keeping you in there. I think one of the Colossuses I had actually had something keeping me in there. There's nothing preventing me from just leaving. So I almost feel like at the end of the story, it's gonna be one of those cases where we did something wrong and we can't ever say at any point that we were required to do it because we always had like an escape route or something like that. Maybe not, but that's my thought on the matter. Alright, so after trying that for a bit and not really finding anything, I eventually just looked it up. I didn't want to do it, but I was kind of at about my wit's end there. It turns out, when he's doing that chasing sequence on you, you have to shoot him in his eye. That thing I tried to do to a boss quite a number of times back. Yep, that's how you do it. I don't know. I don't know if I would have figured that one out, because they don't even give you hints for that. They just... the only hint they tell you is that you're going to need to use your horse. Which I guess is kind of a useful hint, but... it didn't exactly help me in that situation. Like, I don't think I would have figured that out without the help of whatever that was, some website I looked at. We're about to run out of room. Oh, I got him. Okay. There we go. Oh, he's getting wiggly. See, once you know the trick for this guy, he's not a problem. I think the big thing is just figuring out the trick. Which is, you gotta shoot him in the eye while you're running away from him. Which I wouldn't say is very intuitive. I don't even have a massive problem with that strategy. You want to know my problem with that strategy is the same issue where you would think when my character's looking backwards, if I pulled out the bow, he would aim his bow backwards. Like, that makes sense to me. You know, thought process-wise. But no, the character always, regardless of where the camera's angled, the character always pulls out his bow in front of him. So if you want to shoot where you're looking behind you, you've got to swing yourself around, which takes about, a second. Minor complaint, maybe, but it would make that feel a whole lot less clunky if you didn't have to pull out your bow and then do a 180 with the control sticks to turn around and shoot the guy behind you. I don't know, just my thoughts on the matter, I guess. But we are now down to 6 Colossus. Perhaps, a Colossus that shoots fire? Excellent. That's what I need. Slow roasted tender skin goodness. Don't worry, dear. We're gonna make it. One dark noodle at a time. Anyway. Yeah, I'll leave it up there for now, and I'll have to give myself a couple days until I next play this. Because otherwise I'm going to get, like, super far ahead of myself, and I don't really want to do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, as usual. And I will see you next time for some more Shadow of the Colossus. Where we go and kill some fire monster, I guess. Bye!